my name's Bo and this is Peter, and we're here to talk about love and lust in this series. And really we want to get down to the definitions of what love and lust are and what it looks like when it pertains to our relationships and sexual relationships. So first we want to look at love, what love is, and from a biblical worldview, we have to first understand God, because the Bible says in 1 John chapter 4 verse 8 that God is love. So really where we got to start is, what is God like? And with that, we see other passages in the Bible that really help us out. What are some of those passages, Peter?
That's right. I think the major one that we have as Christians is 1 Corinthians 13 verse 4 through 8. And those passages are the famous ones that everyone hears at the weddings. You know, love suffers long and is kind. Love is patient. Love is gentle. Love doesn't seek its own, doesn't boast, doesn't parade itself.
Rejoices in the truth.
Rejoices in the truth.
Yep.
Hopes all things, believes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. That's the famous passage. And what Paul's really doing in that passage is he's just describing God. He's describing the nature and personality of God to us as believers, and he's helping us to understand this concept of what love is. Because part of the problem that we have inside of the world and inside of relationships is no one really knows how to define love. We all think we're acting in love, but sometimes we're not. And that acting in love, and what we perceive to be love, can actually be harmful to another person, and we can actually be acting in what we call or what the Bible refers to as lust. And Bo, what is lust?
I mean, lust is really a taking. Instead of a giving, it's really something that you're wanting to get. Your lust can be like a strong desire for something to where you will do anything to get it. And that's the problem, is sometimes like we might use like, I love ice cream, but really we're saying I lust ice cream, man. I have a really strong desire for it and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get that. And when you bring that kind of definition into a relationship, that's where it gets tricky, because now you start lusting someone, meaning you want to get something out of them, and you'll do whatever it takes to get that. And it's subtly, what you think to be love really becomes lust in that relationship.
And absolutely. And I think the major part of the section of 1 Corinthians 13 that really speaks to us is 1 Corinthians 13 verse 5, where love doesn't seek its own. That's the major quality of God that he has. Love is not self-seeking. It's not trying to propagate itself. It's not trying to please itself. It finds its joy and benefit in the betterment of another. And we see the fulfillment of that in the cross, that Christ, although he suffered, although he paid a price, although he paid the ultimate price, he found joy in it, as Hebrews 12 verse 2 tells us, because it was for the betterment of his bride. Lust, on the other hand, it may do good things for people. Lust can be patient sometimes. Lust can be generous sometimes and gentle sometimes. But ultimately, the purpose of lust is self-motivated. Whether it is, I feel lonely, so I want to be satisfied by a spouse, or I may want to have an ego boost, so I do something nice for my wife, but in reality, I'm just really looking for her attention, or for her to give me the thumbs up, or to approve of me. Or maybe I do something selfless for her, whether in bed or out of bed, but in reality, the reason why I'm doing it is I'm stocking up the brownie points so I could cash them in later. So all those things, they may from the outset look like love, but in my heart, I'm doing those things to gain something in return, so I am being self-seeking.